EasyTalk podcast, real talk for true entrepreneurs, is proudly sponsored by Dr. Keith Norman, pastor of First Baptist Broad, leading with faith, purpose, and power because strong communities build strong businesses.
Welcome once again to another episode of Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. Today, we are going to learn some good stuff. You guys stay tuned because this is one show you don't want to miss. Today on the show, we have a luxury brand influencer, Miss Jordyn McKenzie Washington. But before she comes on, let me just tell you a little bit more about Jordyn McKenzie. Jordyn McKenzie Washington is an amazing young lady. She is a successful content creator and luxury brand influencer. She graduated from the University of Memphis in 2022, and she will have her master's in strategic communications in May of 2026. She started her entrepreneur journey in 2020, and she's a dedicated mom, a lifelong learner, a twin sister, and an all-around phenomenal woman. Let us welcome Miss Jordyn McKenzie Washington.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for taking time to come on the show.
Yeah.
I know we're stealing you away from your content creation for just a few minutes, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
So, Jordyn, tell us something interesting about you that we may not know.
Well, you said a lot, but for those who don't know me, I am a content creator. I absolutely love being behind the camera, recording myself. A lot of my content is aimed at beauty, lifestyle, and fashion. However, I just recently started talking about soft girl spiritual tips that I've started doing.
Oh, soft girl spiritual tips. Okay,
yes.
okay.
I'm really excited about that. It's fairly new, and it's where I just give morning tips of the day or morning prayers to kind of help young women like myself stay spiritually aligned.
What made you come up with that?
Well, I've been really focused on my walk with God lately, and I just felt like a part of my journey is to also spread the good news. And if I can't do it in the way of a pastor or a motivational speaker, I thought what better way than to just give these daily tips to help young women.
Oh, wow. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
So when you became a content creator and this luxury brand influencer, was there a special moment that brought you to that, or a special collaboration that kind of helped elevate you in that area?
Honestly, my first real luxury brand that I ever really worked with that paid me was Kate Spade.
Okay, I love Kate Spade.
Yes, I love Kate Spade. I was really excited to work with them. It came out of nowhere. But I feel like when I started working with that brand, posting about that brand, other brands recognized me and then wanted to work with me. So I got noticed by other designer brands and luxury brands, and they wanted to use me for promotion as well.
Wow, wow. So tell us something juicy. Have you ever turned down a brand for some reason?
I have. I actually turned down a couple of brands, but one brand in particular that I turned down, it just didn't align with who I am as a person, and I think that's what you call an authentic influencer or digital creator. If it doesn't align with my brand and who I am, how can I promote it? And these people who are watching me trust me enough to want to buy products that I'm recommending. So if I'm not using it myself, why would I recommend that to somebody else?
That is awesome. And so I want to hone in on something you said, because as an entrepreneur, your brand is the most valuable thing you ever own. I say that all the time. And you have to know what you stand for, which means you have to have boundaries.
Exactly.
So that is awesome that you say, you know, I need to align my brand because, again, that trust. You've built trust with an amazing audience. Yes. And again, they trust what you say. They trust the products that you use. And so it is critical that you set those boundaries. In life and as an entrepreneur, it is so important that we set boundaries.
Exactly.
Wow, that is awesome. So in your content creation, what's a typical day like for you?
So I typically wake up super early. I'm a mom, if you guys don't know. So I wake up early, I get my son ready for school, I take him to school, and then I immediately come home and get back to work. My setup is kind of a vanity mirror, a cute little chair, and I set up my Sony ZV-10, and I'm all in. And it's honestly, but when I first started, it was a little intimidating talking to the camera, getting used to the camera. But someone gave me this funny tip saying, just pretend you're on FaceTime. And that's how I've been able to become successful with
Just
it.
pretend you're on FaceTime.
So I'm like, okay, I'm talking to people that really admire me, really support me, and so it's like being on the phone with your bestie. That's kind of how I put it in my mind.
That is awesome, because that's a good motivator for you. It builds your confidence to say,
does.
I'm talking to people that love me, that want to hear from me.
Exactly.
Even if they're not around.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
And there are times where I do have bloopers. I actually posted on my Instagram a behind the scenes blooper video. And it was just kind of me like, starting over and like, oh, I messed up that word. Just so people can see like, nothing is perfect. I do fall short, but also see that it's trial and error. Like, and just because you're messing up doesn't mean that you should stop and quit and that it's not for you. If you want to pursue this career, definitely go after it. It's a lot. It's a lot of opportunity within this
and
industry.
It's fun too, and it's motivating.
It is fun, and it's so fun watching people grow and succeed and get noticed for the first time. I just had so much fun, like being able to network with brands that I used to dream of working with. So,
wow. So what are some of those brands? Tell us.
So as you can see, I just recently partnered with Neutrogena.
Oh my gosh.
So
I grew up with Neutrogena, got me out of my acne.
Yes. And that's the thing. I started off just buying products from people, buying products from my favorite clothing brands, my favorite skincare brands and beauty brands. That's how it really started for me. And I just sat in front of the camera and I posted myself doing my skincare routine, my makeup routine, or trying on an outfit. That's how you really get started, and that shows the brand like, okay, she really is an advocate for our brand. She really likes our brand. She supports us without us sending her free gifts.
That makes so much sense, because you're doing it authentically and naturally. Like you want to promote something that you love. It's almost like you go out and you buy a car and you love the car. You tell people about it.
Yeah, you do. And if that car really likes you back and the brand, they will reach out to you.
Say, hey, you want to drive our 2026?
And there's people that have worked with brands like Mercedes and all those different brands. So I am thrilled about this career. I'm really passionate about it. It started by an accident, honestly. It was 2020, and I honestly just wanted to revamp my social media. Not sure why. I just kind of wanted to revamp it, start over. I think everybody was on that 2014 Instagram at first, which I kind of miss, the simple life of the 2014 Instagram. But I wanted to just take high definition pictures. And I do have a background in modeling, so that's kind of where it started. I just wanted to take pretty pictures. That's it. And so that's what I would do. I would just go find a place, go take a picture, call my sister or my cousins or friends and say, hey, you guys want to take pictures of me today? And we would go find a cute spot and upload, and that's when it really started for me.
Wow.
They were like, oh, you look great in this outfit. Where'd you get it from? You know, because people will ask you those questions.
That is true. That is true. I do personal shopping for some people. And they're like, oh, that looks so great on you. And a lot of people don't have the knack or that eye for it. And so for someone to be able to show you or tell you about it and help you along that journey, it really promotes that brand and you. So
it does.
So some of the brands you mentioned Neutrogena. Who else do we have here?
So this is Lawless Beauty. I have actually never worked with them before. They just started sending me stuff.
Wow.
I'm really excited about it. So I have not yet made a video about this, but I am.
Okay, so we're getting new stuff. So you just got this box on your porch, just out of the blue from a company.
And honestly, that's kind of how it works. I remember my favorite, I love Rihanna.
That's the fancy brand.
So one day I noticed there was like a huge package on my porch, and I just kept saying, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I want to go out there and get it. It's too big. I was a little scared.
It was big.
I was like, I didn't order anything. I don't know if someone's trying to prank me. But I went out there, I got it, brought it into the house. It was really heavy, and I opened it, and I remember it was Fenty Beauty, and I was like, hold on, like, does she know? Does she know who I am?
Like Rihanna knows my address.
Yeah, it's like her PR team. But yeah, I was really excited about that, and that really encouraged me. I also received an iPad out of nowhere from Tarte.
Wow.
So the next thing for me is brand trips, actually meeting the business owners that own these brands that I love. But yeah, it's exciting.
So I want to go back to this because I'm in my entrepreneur mind, I'm thinking, no one reached out to you.
No.
You just get these gifts all the time,
Yeah.
which means to me,
They're watching.
they're saying, I love what she's doing. I'm going to send her my stuff in the hopes that she likes it and that she's going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give you a script to say.
No, they don't.
They didn't say, do this, use this, wear this,
No.
say this.
And some brands are so kind to where they'll send me things and I'm like, you don't even have to post this. We just want to know if you like it.
Wow.
You can email us back letting us know your thoughts or reviews. So I've had experiences like that. I personally do like to post it because that's more content for me.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I just have such a love for beauty. So I love
And
sharing
obviously
girls.
they can see that. They
Yeah.
can see that. Now, I see here one of my favorites.
Yes.
The Versace Bright
Oh,
Crystal.
yes.
How did you get with Versace?
So that came out of nowhere too. I was going through my email one day and I noticed someone from their team emailed me, wanted to send me their fragrance, and just wanted me to upload a cute little video of me like spraying it on, like and talking about the different fumes that I smell in the fragrance. Especially with Valentine's Day coming up.
That's
true.
true.
Everybody wants to smell their best.
Women love perfume for Valentine's Day. Hint, hint, men.
Yes. So they sent it to me and I reviewed it and here we are.
So it sounds like, too, there's a big possibility that sometimes it could be spam. Like,
It
you don't
is,
know
it
if the
is.
email is spam, if the call or the package is spam.
I will say, in the very beginning, I did have trouble kind of deciphering whether if it was a real credible brand or someone was just trying to scam me. And I think a lot of influencers or aspiring influencers go through that phase in the beginning of their career because a lot of people do try to scam influencers, unfortunately. So I always say if the business isn't behind the email address, it's not real.
That's true. Now, she said something critical. If the business is not behind the email address, that means business owners, entrepreneurs, please, 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 right now, if you do not have a business email address, you need to get one. That means your email address is not missalicia@hotmail.com or reneegogirl@gmail.com. My email address is alicia@acareergirl.com. My business name is at the end of my email address. That is a surefire way. You have to pay for that domain, and it's not expensive.
No, not at all.
It's like $12 a year or something, and you need to make sure that you own your brand. That is very important that you own your brand.
Exactly, and I will say, like for smaller business owners who are looking for influencers to work with, that actually helps because so many influencers receive a lot of emails a day. I know for me, I kind of receive 20 to 30 emails a day.
Wow.
That I just kind of go through and scan. So if you have your business behind your email address, I'm like, okay, this is credible. But if it's just, if you have a brand and you don't have a professional email account, it's kind of hard to, well, you're probably going to be immediately scratched off.
Yes, or you could take a chance of being spam.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're making so many great points here. Another great point that you made was small business owners having influencers.
Yeah.
I will tell you, as a marketer, I'm going to raise my hand first. I never thought about that.
Yes.
That is a phenomenal way to help grow your business and
It
get your
is.
brand out there. And it doesn't necessarily probably have to be a product. It could be a service that you provide.
It can.
It's cheaper than having a commercial, which costs thousands of dollars.
And I think a lot of brands are noticing that now, which is really exciting. Influencers are your new commercial.
Yes.
That's your new paid
Influencers are your new commercials. And that collaboration. Because they could possibly collaborate with you.
Exactly.
And your followers and influencers now become theirs.
Exactly.
So that's an audience that you would have never reached if you didn't have an influencer.
Exactly. And I actually just I have a relative that has a brand, and I just set her up with some Christian TikTokers, really successful TikTokers that I know of, and they're going to be helping her brand, and she's a small business owner, and so now her brand gets to be promoted to their 100,000 viewers.
Yeah, the followers that they have.
Exactly. So that's going to help them make content and also her get more views to her brand.
That is awesome. So the benefit too, it sounds like, for the influencer is that you get content.
Yes.
Which is what you want.
Yes.
So
that's every influencer's favorite dream. when can we make content? Content is how we get paid. So I'm always like, I know my friends will get like upset sometimes. They're like, here she goes with her camera. Because I'm always like this. I'm like, okay, like let's record the food. Because I'm like, okay, everything is.
Because you can become an influencer for a restaurant.
Yeah,
you can become an influencer for a particular drink.
Yeah, a gym. I've done Pure Barre, Olive Branch.
Yeah.
Because they noticed I really like to work out. And I ended up working with them and creating videos for them as well. So it's no limit.
Wow, wow. What are some other brands that you've worked with?
So one other brand that I really love is Juvia's Place, and it's Black owned.
Okay.
So I love that place. It's actually sold in Ulta or Sephora. I think it's Ulta. But I really do love their brand, and I actually purchased their brand way before I started working with them. When I first started wearing makeup in high school, and my mom finally let me wear makeup, Juvia's was one of the brands that I would wear.
Wow.
And to be able to work with them now, and I remember talking to the lady who works at their team, and I remember saying, like, how did she find me? And she found me because she followed me on Instagram. So sometimes these influencer coordinators follow you on Instagram and they're like, hey, I work for this brand and I like your content personally, so I'm going to see if I can vouch for you for this company that I'm working with.
Wow. So you're saying that some larger companies have coordinators that go out and seek influencers to work with them.
You can be an influencer. So an influencer coordinator is someone that goes out seeking influencer talent for the brand that they're working for. You can be that influencer coordinator's favorite TikToker, Instagrammer, or whatever you want to call it, and they're going to say, hey, I really like her. Let me mention her to the brand that I'm working with. Wow. Because part of their job is to find new talent. So that's kind of how that happened for me at Juvia's.
Wow. Do you have a LinkedIn? Would LinkedIn be a place that you would also market yourself as an influencer?
LinkedIn is updating, I will say. I've noticed that they've been updating. I don't really market myself on LinkedIn as much as I do Instagram, TikTok, Lemonade, Facebook.
Lemonade?
Lemonade.
That's new. I've never heard of Lemonade.
So, as you all know, we almost had to say goodbye to TikTok, unfortunately. Fortunately, we did not have to, but
a lot of people were really rattled about that TikTok thing.
I was really upset about that and having meltdowns, and they were also going to take away Lemonade. But Lemonade is also a platform that TikTok owns.
Okay.
It's more of like a Pinterest. It's really girly.
Okay.
And if you know anything about Pinterest, it's all these beauty products or, you know, aesthetically pleasing photos. So I love Lemonade. I thought I was going to hate it at first, but I absolutely love it. And it's an app where you can teach other women about something. So that's the thing that I love. So you can post your workout routine for other girls to comment on and save it. So I really do love my Lemonade account.
Yeah, that is awesome. I want to go back to one thing. You talked a little bit about your spiritual journey.
Yeah.
So in your reading, do you just share kind of some thoughts that you have, or does that help you as well with meditation? Because as an entrepreneur, as a influencer, as a content creator, I can imagine that it's really important that you have a stable mind, stay grounded, and have a really strong mindset.
So one of the things that a lot of people on social media go through, not even just content creators, people in general, young people, there's this seeking of validation. I've struggled with it myself. I know other people who've struggled with it. And
I've struggled with it. I have.
Yeah, and it's where you're like consistently posting your highlight reel, and you're just like, oh my gosh, am I behind? Is this other person so ahead of me? You start to second guess yourself and things of that sort. And so I really started to kind of put myself in check. Like, okay, I'm not supposed to depend on anything else but God for validation. Even though he gave me this platform and I'm grateful for it, people are fickle. They can like me today, not like me tomorrow. Is my self-esteem gonna go with that?
That is so true.
And I had to work on that. You know, my mom, she gives me the tough love when it comes to that. Like, hey, this is not your entire personality. This is what you do. Outside of this, who are you? And so I really had to dive deep and figure out who I was outside of social media. And once I figured that out, then I was able to create this space where I would send tips to other women about that, about self-worth, seeking validation from God and God only, about overcoming obstacles from your past life. So I really enjoy it. It helps me to help them.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And
agree.
to see it first thing in the morning when you wake up, which I try to do it first thing in the morning, it helps your day, you know?
It does. It really does. Having that motivation to start your day off. Because if your day starts off bad and negative, your day, more than likely, the entire day is going to go that way.
I had one of those days recently where everything just went sour. But I really had to remind myself that at the end, this will all fade. While I am grateful to God that He blessed me with this talent to do what I do, I know that there's a higher purpose for all of this. It's not just about me. Even though I'm in front of the screen talking to people about makeup, fashion, or whatever it is, it's not about me. So what can I do to also spread the good news, but not in a way of a pastor or a motivational speaker, but in my way.
Yes, exactly. Just as a disciple of Christ. Yeah. It's almost like it's our obligation and our duty to share that good news and to tell other people so that they could seek. So if someone was wanting to be an influencer or thinking about being an influencer, what would you suggest that they do to start off?
Getting comfortable recording yourself. Also, well, first you need to consult with God about it. That's the first thing you need to do, because I do feel like this career is a trend right now, and just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean you should be doing it.
That's true.
So you need to find out if it's really for you.
Because a lot of people fail at things and they really beat themselves up about it when it was not for you to do in the first place.
And there's so many careers within this industry. You can be an influencer coordinator behind the camera, looking for the talent, which is actually, I'm working on my master's degree to do that as well.
So you believe in higher education? You're a lifelong learner?
Yes, lifelong.
Are you married?
No.
The guys may want to know. I heard you. I went ahead and asked for you. Yeah, I know you wanted to know.
Not yet. But I really think there's so many opportunities within this career. You don't always have to be in front of the camera, but if you do, consult first. Once you consult, really work on yourself, find your niche. And if you don't have a niche, you have to really push your personality. Right now, what I love about social media is consistently changing. So you don't have to be in a box. I'm not in a box. While I am a beauty, fashion, lifestyle creator, I post gym content. It's content about my life as a person. Because at first it was, okay, we just like Jordyn doing makeup. Then we like Jordyn just modeling in her clothes. Now we've gotten to know Jordyn. I want to see what she does in her life. Okay, so now I post things about my lifestyle. So you don't have to be in a box, just push your personality.
Push who you are. And that's one great thing about God, is that everybody has their unique talent.
It's
There's
tapping
something
into that,
something so special about you that you should be able to tap into that and share that with the world, because you are unique.
And I think a lot of people struggle initially with becoming other people instead of really tapping into their own personality.
Oh, that's good.
I even had imposter syndrome, when you kind of like want to become somebody else, and it's like, no.
And that's the hardest thing to do. Like, how can I be somebody that I don't know? Like, that's not me.
Exactly. And while you have a favorite influencer, and that's great, they're famous and successful for their own talent. You need to become famous and successful for your own talent.
That's true.
You have your own DNA. No one else has it. So use it.
Right. And as an entrepreneur, that's critical, because you have to be able to take your unique talent, skill set, and gifts and say, how can I share this with the world?
Exactly.
If you're an entrepreneur and you're doing something that is in someone else's lane and you just like it and want to be there, support them. Because I think along the way of you supporting someone else, you will find your niche.
Exactly.
You will find your niche, because then you'll be doing something that you love, that you like to do, and say, hey, wait a minute. This is my thing right here. And it just kind of blooms from there.
And a lot of these brands that I've worked with, I remember when the owner of Captivate, and it was crazy.
I'm familiar with Captivate.
Yeah, Captivate. So, and that's how I got my Nike deal. So the owner of Captivate, I remember he just kind of like randomly followed me on Instagram. And I went to go on LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, is this really the founder of Captivate? And I'm like, okay, it is.
Wow.
And then next thing you know, here comes Nike. And it was through Captivate that I got that partnership.
Wow.
So a lot of these brands and people just want to look to see what sets you apart. They see the big influencers, but what sets you apart?
And the same thing with a business. What sets your business apart?
Exactly.
How do you differentiate and compete? And it sounds like what you're telling us is tap into you. Be who you were designed to be. And as Habakkuk 2:2 says, your gift will make room for you.
It will. It will. It
Wow.
will.
And it has definitely made room
has.
for you.
It has.
Now, I heard about a particular package you got from my favorite actress that I love, Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
And I almost had to come apart. I was like, what?
Her hair brand. Absolutely love it. I was in shock when I got her brand as well.
I can imagine.
It was so surreal, but I've been blessed to work with so many different brands that I grew up just admiring, shopping from.
And never thought that it would come to this.
And I knew as a kid who I wanted to be. Like there was never a doubt in my mind.
That is true. That
of
is
who
true.
I wanted to be. Did I know what space it was going to be in? No, because influencing wasn't a thing then.
Right.
But I always knew that I wanted to be a part of the beauty and fashion industry. I was a fashion major at Mississippi State when I first started my journey in college. It was always that area that I wanted to be in. So to actually be living that out is really exciting.
Wow, it is. You said something else. You've been dropping so many great nuggets. You said something else that I thought was very important for entrepreneurs, for all of us as living, breathing individuals.
Yeah.
You said that you knew that you wanted to be in the beauty industry, but you didn't know in what capacity.
Yeah.
So that's like saying, you have to just follow the path that's been laid out for you. We may not always know what it's going to look like in the end, but that passion that you have, you should follow it.
Exactly.
Because it will lead you somewhere that you may never thought it would, but everything works out for your good in the end. You just have to trust the path and validation, not be so concerned about validation. And you know, just to be honest with you on this show, because this is real talk for true entrepreneurs. So we have to be honest with ourselves. And I wanted validation, and I grew up wanting it, but I didn't know that it was called validation. And so what I had to realize was, I love to be complimented. I love for someone to say, good job, Alicia. Oh, you're doing great. And I found myself doing things for other people and helping people all the time just to hear that.
Yeah.
That's validation. That's wanting validation. The scary part about that is you will find yourself in such disarray, running all over the place with no boundaries, doing everything for everybody, just for someone to say good job.
And the thing that I've learned about that through personal experience, business experience, you have to be the one that tells you good job.
Yes. Ma'am.
Yeah, you have
pat
to
yourself on the back.
You have to do it yourself.
Come on, Miss Jordyn McKenzie.
I've learned that through so many different, and I think that's one of the reasons why God put a lot of different things in my life that I had to go through personally. To say, Jordyn, if you don't believe in Jordyn, you can't expect everybody else to believe in Jordyn.
I'm about to run up out of here, y'all. Because you have to believe in you. Even in a business as an entrepreneur, it's your business. Nobody's knocking on your door. Nobody's saying, hey, here you go. You have to go out there and get it.
You do. And I remember having a conversation with my sister recently. And I was telling her, like, hey, girl, you can't depend on anybody for your dream but you. Like, it's your dream. God put that in you and God.
It's
so
yours.
He put it in your heart. You pray to Him. But don't expect other people to
buy into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so why are they not supporting me? I see they didn't buy into my brand. They didn't click like or comment on my.
And
they don't have to.
A lot of entrepreneurs I see on social media will post, support your friends. Why aren't you supporting your friends? Your friends should not be your only customers, by the way. And doesn't mean they're not supportive, but you should be looking for other people to support you. That's going to make your brand more successful. These bigger brands, they're not reaching out to their friends only. They're reaching out to everyone. Because
that limits you. That puts you in a box because now you only have that circle that you have.
And you're depending on that little circle to go and tell their friends.
And
no, you have to advocate and brand yourself.
Yes. Listen. Rewind. There have been so many great nuggets here that we all need.
Yeah.
So many things that you made me think about, like the validation is real. That's a big one. That's a big one. You have to believe in you. Major point. You can't sell what you don't believe in.
That's a clip art right there.
You can't sell what you don't believe in.
Yeah.
So if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to sell a product or service, if you don't believe in it, how does that make your look to your audience?
Exactly.
How does that look to your audience? You've got to believe in you. This young lady, wisdom does not come with 50 and above.
No, it does not.
You can be wise at any age. It's a
Yes.
matter of taking those experiences and really looking in the mirror saying, what can I learn from this?
Exactly.
How could I do something different?
Yeah.
What can I do to better myself? And that's exactly what you have done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Of
coming on my show,
course,
taking
of
your time.
course.
I'm not Versace.
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
Neutrogena. This is Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. And Jordyn McKenzie Washington has stopped by to share her time and tips with us.
Yes.
Thank you so
Of
much.
course,
Thank
of
you
course.
so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for joining. Please, please, please make sure that you follow Jordyn. What's your Instagram? How can we catch you?
You guys can find me at I am Jordyn McKenzie on all socials.
I am Jordyn McKenzie,
Jordyn McKenzie,
on
all
all socials.
socials.
Please follow her. And think about it, entrepreneurs. You may have the next or even your first influencer right here. You heard it here first on Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Easy Talk Podcast, real talk for true entrepreneurs, is proudly sponsored by Dr. Keith Norman, pastor of First Baptist Broad, leading with faith, purpose, and power because strong communities build strong businesses.